Thank you. Okay, sorry. Okay, the next Muktzah we're going to learn is Muktzah because the things are forbidden to use, halachically, not because Shabbos doesn't allow it, or whatever. That's Kelish Malachta Le'isr. There's another type of Muktzah which is completely Muktzah. It's called Muktzah Machmasisr. So for instance, sometimes you have forbidden things, but you can use them for other things. So then they wouldn't be Muktzah. And we're going to learn examples. It's going to be very clear. Okay, let's say somebody has produce from Eretz Yisrael. So now produce that comes from Eretz Yisrael to America, you have to tithe it. You have to give trumas, maasros. Without that, you're not allowed to eat it. So therefore the din is, you can't separate truma and maaser on Shabbos. Why? Because you're making from non-edible, from non-usable, usable. So you're like fixing a keli. You can't eat it. Now you're doing something that allows it to eat. It's similar to what we learned, that you're not allowed to table dishes in Shabbos. It's machlekes, but the halacha is you're not allowed to table in the mikveh. You can't table immersed dishes in Shabbos. Why? Because like this you can't use them for food, and now you want to use it for food. So you're making it non-usable for food, then usable. Okay? But we'll soon learn the vessel that you didn't put into the mikveh yet is not muktzah. And we'll see why in a second. Anyway, so fruits and vegetables that come from Eretz Yisrael that you need to tithe, maaser, trumas, and everything, they're completely muktzah on Shabbos. Now, what happens if you have dough or challah that you forgot to separate challah? Now, when you bake challah, if it's a certain amount, so you have to separate a piece. In time of the Bais Din was one of the 24 gifts given to Koyanim. Nowadays, we don't know who Koyanim are. Nobody has a chazak of a Koyan. So therefore, we burn it in the oven. Okay? So here there's a very interesting halachic difference between Eretz Yisrael, today even, Eretz Yisrael and Chutz La'aretz. The din is, in Eretz Yisrael, you're not allowed to eat the challah at all without separating challah. I'm going to use the word bread and challah, what we separate, okay? You're not allowed to eat the bread without separating challah. In Chutz La'aretz, though, outside of Eretz Yisrael, you're allowed to eat, let's say you have a bread that nobody separated challah from. So not Shabbos, during the week, it doesn't matter. Halachically, outside of Eretz Yisrael, you're allowed to eat it and leave a piece at the end for challah. In Eretz Yisrael, you have to separate challah before you eat it, or else you're not allowed to eat it. In Chutz La'aretz, you're allowed to eat it, but you have to leave over the amount at the end. Yeah.
Are bakeries required to separate?
Yeah, they do separate challah. The hashgacha separates challah. They have a whole process in bakeries. There's a different process, but of course they do. So now, so you have like this. So let's say somebody in America, here, they baked challah for Shabbos or bread, whatever, and they didn't separate challah. So you're allowed to eat it. Why? You can eat it and leave over at the end. So you're not fixing anything. You're just leaving over a piece at the end. You're not doing an act of fixing. But if you'd be in Eretz Yisrael and somebody forgot, let's say they baked challah, okay, now they come to the table with 12 challahs, that they just baked, and they realize that they didn't separate challah, there's nothing you could do with those challahs. You have to save them for after Shabbos, separate challah, and then you can eat them. Can't do anything about it on Shabbos. Because again, by separating challah, you're making non-edible into edible. So it's a... What?
Why is it changed by Eretz Yisrael?
Because it's halacha meshusina that the challah chutz la'aretz is you could leave over at the end.
So when we buy, let's say you buy a tahina or something that came from Israel that has an OU on it, you assume that it's all been taken care of.
If you buy something from Eretz Yisrael that has, usually if you see in the Hebrew, it says Naki Mechshash Arla Tevel. It's not only there's other things also, Arla. The biggest problem in Israel is not meat as much as fruits and vegetables. Here in America, you want to survive on fruits and vegetables, you have it easy. You go to the supermarket, buy fruits and vegetables. In Eretz Yisrael, you can't just go to a supermarket and buy fruits and vegetables. Number one, you have a din of Arla, the first 3 years. You're not allowed to eat the fruits. So in Eretz Yisrael, the din is Safek Arla is Asur. If it's doubtful, maybe it's Arla, maybe not, you're not allowed to eat it. So unless you know there's a hashkacha that says it's not Arla, you wouldn't be allowed to eat it. In America, the din is Safek Arla is Mutter. So in Chutz La'aretz, unless if you know for sure it's Arla, you're allowed to eat it. So here it's very easy. Go to the supermarket, I don't know that it's Arla or not, it's a Safek, I'm allowed to eat it. And Eretz Yisrael, so you couldn't separate, again, there's no Arla separation. But that would be a big issue in Eretz Yisrael. So Challah, in Chutz La'aretz, if you forgot to separate Challah, now it's Friday night, so you just make sure to leave over a piece at the end, and it's no problem. In Eretz Yisrael, you couldn't do that. Okay, next is things that have meat and milk in it. Things that have meat and milk are asibana, you're not allowed to benefit from it. The Torah says 3 times, cannot cook a goat in its mother's milk. And the Gemara learns out, why does it say 3 times? Don't cook. So it says 1 to tell us you're not allowed to cook, even if you're not eating it. You cannot cook meat and milk together. Another thing is you're not allowed to eat it. And the third thing is you cannot benefit. Like we mentioned in the past, if you have dog food that has meat and milk in it, you're not allowed to feed it to your dog. But that's providing that the meat is from a kosher animal. That means, let's say they have dog food, or cat food, or whatever. You have beef and milk. Okay? So that would be asibana. But if, let's say, it's pig meat and milk, so obviously you're not allowed to eat it, but it's not asibana. Or if it's chicken and milk, it's not asibana. So then you could feed your dog a concoction of dog food that has pig meat and milk, but not if it's cow meat and milk.
It's just cow.
Any kosher animal.
So chicken.
Because chicken's only with Rabbanim, anyway. So when the Chacham forbade chicken with milk, they only said it's asur b'achila, not hano. So hano, chicken and milk, you can't eat obviously, but it's asur b'achila. What?
You can cook chicken also, right?
Huh?
In theory, you cook chicken.
It's not asur b'achila, yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
No.
I have a question about when you're separating the challah. I'm just thinking about larger size bakeries and stuff. I mean, that separation becomes kind of a large sum at the end of the day. So what do they do with it? Is there anything that they do with it at all, or it's all?
No. They could separate a kazais for a large amount.
Even if it's for any amount, so it doesn't.
Yeah.
Oh.
But they do it in a different way with the flour. They have a whole procedure.
What do you do? You burn it?
And that's, by the way, only dough if it's made by a Jew. If a dough is made by a guy, then there's no mitzvah challah on it.
But it's not Paz Yisrael.
No, I'm saying if a guy made the dough and it's the guy's dough and you bake it, so what?
You can burn it,
Yeah,
you can't just throw it out.
the custom is to burn it. There's reason for that, but it's not for now. Okay, so meat and milk, again, is asur b'hano, and therefore if it's asur b'hano, it's completely muktzah on Shabbos. You can't use it for anything. Or chametz on Pesach. Chametz on Pesach is also asur b'hano. You can't have benefit from chametz on Pesach. So therefore, like we were discussing the other day, if you find chametz on Pesach, you can't even pick it up and throw it out. You have to cover it with a keli. Then you have, let's say, yayin nesach or yayin stam. Yayin nesach is something that a guy actually poured for Avodah Zarah. That's asur b'hano. Stam yainam, which means wine that's not mevoshel, not cooked, that a guy touched. So many times it's asur b'hano, depending on the situation. Sometimes it's asur b'hano, sometimes it's not asur b'hano. If the stam yainam is also asur b'hano, so then it's muktzah on Shabbos. It's not Kabbalah, it's very simple. If you can't benefit from it, so then it's muktzah, it's not usable. What?
In the old days, like when they had servants and all that kind of stuff, and they didn't have neutral wine, what would they do when they were served with wine?
They made sure the guy didn't serve it.
So.
That's what they did. They made sure the guy didn't serve it.
But they were cleaning things up.
So they would make sure that the guy wouldn't touch the wine. So people have housekeepers today. It's the same issue. If you have non-mevoshel wine, and it's an open bottle.
They'll go bring it from the cellar, I don't know. Like,
So they
imagine
didn't-
something back in those
So
days.
they didn't have Goyish servants that would bring wine.
It's only an issue if the bottle's open, right?
If the bottle's unsealed, correct.
But what if you open a wine and then there's leftover wine, you put the cork back in? No?
If a guy touches it, it's garbage.
So if you put a piece of tape over the cork, then you're sure.
If you if you double seal it, so then it's fine. But if you just put the cork in and just close the bottle, it's fine. Okay, anything. Now, what happens if you have other treifa food that's not meat and milk? Whatever, food that's treifa, it's not kosher. So that's not muktzah because you can benefit from it. You can't eat it, but you can still benefit from it. If you're allowed to benefit from it, then it's not muktzah again.
Meaning, like, you can't, like, even like with meat and milk, you're saying it's muktzah because you can't benefit from it, but like, what does that do with like picking up food?
Because it's not a usable thing.
Oh, but you can still
If it's
benefit.
not usable, you can't. Ownership, by the way, means benefit. In Shulchan Aruch, a lot of places, in Chos Pesach, in other dinim, something which is aseh b'hanoah means there's no ownership over it. If chametz becomes aseh b'hanoah, it's not yours. Because it's not, the Torah makes it yours that you get the sin. What?
Sorry if this is a tangent a little bit, but if you give your credit card to your employee and say, go order a pizza, and he gets a pepperoni pizza, then you violated this benefit rule, right?
Well,
No, because you didn't tell him what to buy. If you tell him what to buy, and there's pepperoni pizza, it depends what the meat of the pepperoni is. If it's beef, it's not beef, whatever. There's a bigger problem than that, giving a guy tray for food. That's a separate issue. What? Huh? You can't order tray for food for them. You can't. You can't order it for them. They have to order it themselves. Yeah.
So if like you see a homeless person and you want to help them out, you can't go to McDonald's and buy them.
No, you can't walk into McDonald's anyway. You can give, no, I'm serious. No, it's not a joke. From Jews, not allowed to walk into McDonald's. It's smart as sign. People think you're buying trade. 1 second, you give the guy money and make sure he goes into McDonald's and make sure he buys something, and you stay outside and make sure he buys it. He doesn't buy drugs with it in McDonald's.
wait, can you use the bathroom at McDonald's?
Okay, again, it's getting way off. What?
What if you're on a very long road?
Very what?
What if you're on a very long road and you badly have to use the bathroom?
So you can use the bathroom. Then you could, yeah.
And then the next bathroom is like
500 miles away. Yeah, you could use the bathroom. But don't buy anything there. Okay,
With your yarmulke showing?
what?
With the yarmulke showing?
Yeah, if you're going straight to the bathroom, people know.
What about the Robin
In I don't know, years ago when people traveled, we used to, when we were kids in Chicago, when we were going back to Yeshiva, we didn't fly. We went by bus or by car, whatever it was. So they had what was called Howard Johnson's. There were the restaurants along the way. But everybody knew there was a restaurant part. Everybody knew it was a pit stop. Everybody knew there were bathrooms. So it's not an issue walking into a Howard Johnson because everybody knows that you're walking into to use the bathroom also.
You'd be buying a soda or something, like what's the...
Okay, it's not so simple.